Hi, my name is William Thomson, MD of Gallus Events, and I've just finished a call with Joe Schwinger, the CEO and founder of Meetingplay, a great online events platform based in the States. We covered loads about online events in our little chat. I hope you enjoy it.
I just want to, have an opportunity to talk to you about the differences with the way that we do things that other people don't. So basically, what we're seeing on all of our conferences is that they're increasing about 200, and some of them that have a large global audience, we're seeing about a 600% increase in registration. So as an example, we work with an agricultural company. They have a really big global base, and they're really big in Ireland actually, but obviously they're based in US. And about 7 days prior to their global launch, they went from about 3,500 registered attendees. Now, mind you, face to face, they only would have had about 2,500 if they were lucky because of all the travel. And they got to about 26,000 registrants within that time period.
Now, we were 10 times the amount that we would have had at the physical event.
Yeah, basically. And roughly of the 25,000 plus, we saw more than half of those people actually come in during the window of the event. But then afterwards, we saw a good portion of the rest of them come in. So there is, for some of these events, there is a big attrition where they're not coming, but they will make it eventually for the most part. So that's why I don't think that once you have done an event that multiplies your on-property face-to-face by 10, 12, and you see that those people are actually interacting with your content, there's really no going back. So what we're working with now with our customers is the going back strategy. And we'll be coming out with a couple key different tools to assist with that. So prior to this, we did a lot of on-property integration with badging, kiosk engagement. So we'll be rolling out a contactless badge pickup. And what that's going to do is basically kind of mirrors a little bit about what the amusement parks were doing when they opened up new attractions. You would get a boarding group, right? So we're going to have roughly about 20 boarding groups for a registration. And within your boarding group, you basically will be using Bluetooth to signify that you're in the registration area, because we've been doing beacons for about 6 years now. So when you come into the area and we pick up that you're in the proper boarding group, you'll check in, and then the event providers are using sanitized bags for all of your badge pickup material. And then there's a table that has your number basically 6 feet out. So I check in, it'll tell you that your registration materials are being sanitized. The attendee knows that they're basically getting clean supplies, and then I'll tell them what booth to go or what table to go pick up their supplies, and it's completely contactless. What we're working on though, how do you mirror those people on property to the people that are virtual, right? And this again, I think, is where we kind of have quite a few things in the works over the last couple of years to get that to happen. So we're using tools like augmented reality in the mobile device to mirror that to people that are watching virtually. All of those fun tools that we've been having, those are going to kind of be the glue that stick everybody together. So more on that to come, but going back to what I was saying, again, we work with CMOs, they're the ones that pay the budget, right? And when we talk to them after their events and they see the reports of what they were able to attract, there's really no way that they can go back. So you're in a really good position, I think, because you, as you're probably experiencing, as we are, there's no more pushing people into this. It's guiding people to do it the right way. So now that they are getting it, yes, we're getting a lot more questions about integrations. But what I tell people is you got to still consider the attendee journey, okay? So if you're looking to do an integration with a Zoom or a third party, poster for the pharmaceutical world, to put it blankly, it can't be janky, right? You can't plug in a widget into your overall beautiful virtual event just because you want them to do this. If it's not fully integrated, okay? And I tell you this now, being on the other side of doing, a ton of this with hundreds of thousands of attendees. And one of the core pieces that we offer on every platform is our meeting concierge, where our team is literally talking live with people to understand what their pain points are. I can tell you, if you're not thinking about the attendee journey and how that flows from registration, logging in to the dashboard, to their agenda, to keeping them moving along, and you just insert something that is a third party. And again, I'm not saying that that's a bad way to do it, but if there's not a cohesive thought about the attendee journey and putting it in the right way to make it intuitive, that's where our support lines start to go crazy. Hey, we're supposed to have a virtual happy hour right now. Well, how the hell do I get to it? Well, the client wanted to use Zoom for their happy hour and it wasn't fully integrated. Now, I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of thing that, yes, we do see that meeting planners are getting a little bit more sophisticated and want to bring more tools to the table. But that, again, I would say is even where, as an event technology provider, you can't just say, oh, just go into the admin and click it on here and boom, you're done. Because you're not thinking about the attendee if it's not fully integrated.
Yeah,
and that's where the customization has a lot of play. We're finding the more options, okay, the more flexibility that you can offer that meeting planner, the better positioned you are to work with them. I think you make great points, right? We did start, and I'll highlight, we did start with the wild, wild west of information in March. That's what I called it. Everybody was just trying to figure it out. They didn't know what was going on. But all of the webinars, all of the trainings, we have people on staff that are now certified in virtual events. All of that has led to a more sophisticated event planner. And to go to your point, what that has created is more variety, right? If you're just looking, we have plenty of people that we talk to and like, this sounds like a Zoom meeting. Why would you do this on a platform and not just use Zoom? So the one thing that I will say is there's plenty of room for everybody to be good at what they do. But what's going to happen over the next 6 months, especially with the big people that are coming into the virtual space, right? Some of those that are not advertising their virtual platforms will in the next couple of weeks, and that's going to shake up the market completely. People are getting it, so the questions that remain are now much more technical and user experience related to then what was originally, tell me what's the difference between simulated live and live streaming, right? And we have a function where the speaker can go live after a pre-record. Tell me the difference, how does that work, right? So we've gone from explaining all these special features that we have to more sophisticated requirements as the attendee base grows.
Have you noticed anything that's changed differently with the content and how that's being delivered over the last 3 months?
One of the first things that I tell my sales team that they have to be talking about is remember that the content is why they're coming. If the content's not good, as noted by, I've attended probably 60 of these virtual conferences myself. And if the content's not good, nobody's staying on the live stream. So it's an absolute good part. We are seeing, though, a lot of retention of the agencies, about 20% drop of content management. But then again, what we're advising and what we're seeing is being successful, because we do look at the length at which people are watching videos, is putting in some surprise and delight with some of this extra functionality to kind of not give it to them right away, but give it to them a little bit further coming in. And then obviously the overall environment is switching it up so it looks different.
Yeah. Is this an issue for people getting this traffic to the virtual booths?
We've learned a ton about this over the last 4 months. So I would say that's so when we launched our virtual booth platform, one of the key components that we added when we launched it was this notion of office hours. And that's the capability of people coming in being live as if they were in a Zoom. But again, we don't use that technology. It's all native, right? So during office hours, exhibitors have the capabilities of going live, doing demos on their screen, doing presentations, and basically giving them that booth experience where they're broadcasting. But the difference is that the exhibitors see the people coming into the booth, right? So you see the presentation, and then you have everybody that's coming in, and you can allow for this one-on-one interaction. And I would say that the traffic was good, not great. So what we did shortly after was we unleashed the meetup functionality to the sponsors, but we pushed them to the office hours. So a sponsor could proactively reach out to attendees via the meetups functionality. A attendee can proactively reach out to the booth. And what we were doing is we were driving everybody to the exhibit hours, the live office hours. And we saw basically a 3x lift in people coming. So what that did, and because it's all visual, is Samsung at their booth, in March when this was happening, may have saw those 6 people and interacted with them. Now we're seeing 30 to 45 people, and it's a really robust conversation. And more importantly, the exhibitor is seeing those people. So in terms of their, investment in the virtual space, they feel that they're getting what they want. And then we tie that back into our lead retrieval product. So the exhibitor is seeing soft and hard leads. Soft leads would be everybody that comes in, plays their videos, downloads their documents. If they consent to going on screen, they're a hard lead. So let's say that exhibitor over 3 days has 6 hours of office time where they're going live, 45 people each. You can see that, okay, I've got over 1,000 people that I can contact, and this was pretty good for me. So I say, yes, we saw that early on, but we quickly moved to push traffic into those exhibit halls to beef it up and get them more traffic.
I think that's got to be the key, where people are able to meet face to face with the people on the stand. And I really like the office hours. I'd like to keep in touch and see what and see where you end up.
Absolutely. You're going to open up my Europe office. I'll talk to you next week about that.
All right. Yeah.
Awesome. Have a great day. Stay healthy, okay?
You too. Cheers, Joe. Take it easy. Bye, mate.
Bye-bye now.